Right, another good morning from Hong Kong. Kind of a rainy, crappy day here, but now I haven't been as productive as I wanted because I've been focused on getting these things to communicate. Still have some things to do, but today I decided I'm starting to run my my wires down below. So I've got the positive and negative. That's 95 mm square. I think it was like in American wire gauge AWG. It's like 4/aught, I think. But anyway, that'll carry the amps that I need down to some batteries. So now I need to prepare because it's Friday, so I'm not going to get any batteries till next week. So we'll get this down, and I've got to build some shelves and stuff, but get these things down, clean this up one step at a time, but just to kind of give you an idea of what we're dealing with. You're going to love this. As you can see, I'm starting to run the wires down. I'm going to get to a bus bar down here. So I'm going to be putting batteries in here, because here are the port and the starboard engine battery bank. They're 200 amp hour lead cell batteries. These got to go. I don't even know if you can see it. I don't know if you can see in there. It's just nasty. There's nothing remotely good about these batteries. Anyway, have to keep them on a charge. But I look at the spaghetti mess that I'm going to be doing this weekend. So I got wires are starting to come down, and I'll start running that, clean all this up. I've got to sort through all these wires, figure out where they're all going. I mean, I've got a good wire harness here for the two Gardner engines. Go through that. I've got to go through the what's up at the helm, my switching and stuff. So, and I've got to get a good DC distribution center with 500 or 800 amp bus bars down here. And my plan is to make a box. I'm going to move my relay, so I'll have the port relay will be on the port side, starboard will be on the starboard side here, and I'm going to just have a box with proper ventilation because I'm putting in lead acids. I want to keep these, again, they're Gardner engines for starting. You do not need 200 amp hour batteries for this. A Gardner only requires a 90 amp hour battery for starting. So there'll be two small banks down below for my start, and again, I'm going to use battery isolators and stuff off charge controllers and other voltage regulators, etc. But I'm just going to I'm going to be able to put 8 like Trojan T105s, so that'll be 2 banks and 2 banks, so I'll have a total of 4 in a box. It will be fiberglassed, and it is fairly airtight, if you will. And again, it has to be watertight, so if raw water were to go on it, I want it to be so it doesn't go on, it goes down into the bilge. But then I'll have, fresh air in, and I'll have to when it's gassing to get the hydrogen out of the box. So proper ventilation through that, and get it on like a time or something. But that's to be determined. But I've got the wood, marine ply and all that, and I can just put a sheet of fiberglass mat over it, roll it up, and then polyester urethane paint over the top of it, and that should be good enough. So anyway, that's what I'm doing, but these wires are just a mess. I have got some sorting to do this weekend. Don't know where I do know where it goes to the head, to the toilet. So, but it's a mess. So straighten that up, start getting things so I can have a distribution center, breakers, proper DC breakers and breaker panels, and I have to decide where I'm going to put my main panel as well. So, because once I have the inverter in, I'm going to need to have the inverter AC panel plus a straight AC panel for if I ever go to a marina that does have shore power, because I do have a grid-tied inverter that I can put on, so any power the extra I make, I would feed back, and lowers your berth fees and stuff. When you're a guest, you still have to pay berthing fees. So anyway, that's what's going to happen. But it is a mess. So I will keep you posted. Be good, be safe, be well. Bye-bye. All right. Hello from Hong Kong. That's kind of a mess. That's what I've cleaned out yesterday and last night. I worked pretty late last night. But that's all the wire, that crap that I've taken out. So now we'll go down and kind of see what we got going here. All right, right now I've got two banks here. I've got the port bank and the starboard bank. They're 90 amp hour, 12 volt batteries. Two are in series, and these two are in series. So it gives me my 24 volt bank. But now, last night or yesterday, when I got these batteries out, and they were heavy freaking batteries. They were just so sulfated. But anyway, what had happened once I got the batteries off, there was no center support here. The center support had fallen off. So that's why the batteries were kind of weird. I thought one was going to fall in. But once I got it off, I got a new support in. But I put these batteries in. They fit. I mean, they were designed just for the space. So, but what I've got, I don't know if you can see it, but this is quite deep. I mean, this is it's like 1.5 meters. Down here, it's like 1.5 meters to the top of the rib. That's right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some new planks, ironwood, yucca or something like that. I only need a few. Like this is a good one. That's a good. These two in the center got to go. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in another support, and just below the deck here, I'm going to make another box, fiberglass it in, get a decent hatch cover for it, so it's like airtight. Get a PVC pipe in, like a 2-inch PVC in, and a PVC pipe out, another 2-inch. So if you can see over there, I've got some vents so I can get fresh air intake, and then the exhaust, and I'll put like an inline 2-inch exhaust fan, and because I know Jabsco or Rule makes them, they're really decent 24 volt. What I'll do is I'll probably put in an actual vent over here and try to keep that below this air intake, because all it is for cooling and that. Plus I've got to get other exhaust fans in here, because these engines give off quite a bit of heat, when you're running, and especially if you're driving for like 2-3 hours. They give off a bunch of heat, and so you need to exhaust that, get air in as well for this. But now, these wires I've kind of went through last night, and what they have, how it's set up, is on my two starter relays, they all go over here to the port side bank, and there's two. I've got two hot wires there, and I don't know where they go. I still have to trace them out, because it was getting pretty late by the time I fixed everything and got these in. And I've just temporaried in the wires that I have, because this was the engine bank. This would start the port and the starboard engine, and then these dynamos charged them up. Voltage regulators are up there. But then this bank is just a dedicated house bank, and mainly the only thing that you're using, because this boat never came with an electric toilet. It had the old like bicycle pump toilet, suck in seawater, vacuum out your waste. But there's just basically lights and the fresh water pump. I mean, that's basically it. And your navigation lights. Really didn't have much. And so, anyway, so I've just got those. I know where all these wires go for like the lights and all that, but there's some other stuff in this harness. I don't know where they go, especially over here on the port side. So I've got to figure that out. But now, if I get these batteries down below this deck, get that all nice and sealed, any heat that comes from these engines, it's down below. It'll maintain a cooler temperature than being up here where it's at. Even if I boxed it in here, it would stay cooler because the temperature of the water, and the actual temperature of the keel from the water. I mean, it shouldn't get over 26 degrees, and so that'd probably get up to 30 degrees. Yeah, because sometimes the water gets about 28 in the shallower water. But now this brings me to my next dilemma, and that because I get a plan, and once I dig into something, things kind of change. And so I think right now things are changing. And if I put those batteries down below the deck there, nice and sealed, and then I was thinking about putting in the like the Trojans, the T105s, 4 banks up here. Well, then it's still going to be warm, and the heat will actually transfer through that. So it kind of makes me think, well, here's the wires that are coming over from the control, and I've got about 8 feet. Yeah, I think that's probably about 8 feet extra here. Got about 8 feet extra. I put the ends on. I'm going to temporary it in. So this house bank, because I don't know, I use probably about 12 to 20 amp hours off of the battery bank, for the entire evening, and then the sun comes up and replaces it. So this little bank is gonna do okay for me for right now. And now I need to decide where my control panel is. Where should I put lead acid batteries where they're not going to be in the engine room? Where else could I put them? And so this kind of brings me to a thought, because down here underneath this red carpet, there's the access panel for under here. Now again, this is deep. It's about it's over 1 meter deep. That's down here. So the hatch starts here. This space that's right up there is empty. It's not occupied. It's just space, and there's a lot of it down there. So what I was thinking about doing, if I went with lead acid, I could put in some marine ply, fiberglass it, paint it with polyester urethane, get venting coming in. So from the port side, I would get fresh air coming in, exhaust over on the starboard side. So then when the batteries are gassing, that I've got no contamination. So water comes in on that, or air comes in on that side, goes out that side. So that's option 1. And it would be able to stay at a nice cool temperature as well. Option 2 would be, where's my tape measure? I don't remember where my tape measure is. Oh, there's my tape measure. The other thing is about 3.5 hours north of here, there's a company called CALB, China Aviation Lithium Battery Company. They're very, very famous batteries used in Airbus airplanes. It's the LifePo 4 batteries that are safe, lithium iron phosphate, and you can use 90% of the capacity. So having a 400 amp hour bank is pretty much, I'm told, and I've seen it in action, at having that is the equivalent of having a 900 amp hour lead acid battery bank, because you can use all of it. Because with lead acid, you got dead weight. You can only use 50% of it. So I know that the batteries, the cells, the 3.2 volt, 400 amp hour cells are 45 centimeters wide by 7.1 deep. So if I get, so even this, so I've got 45 cm here and over here, so I've got enough to do 2, plus I've got some other storage down on this bottom shelf. So I could be, and because I'm at 32.5 cm deep, so I need 32 just for 4 cells, and so I'm good to go there. And so 4 there and 4 there, because they're all in series. So, and I can get them to run. Then I can have my battery monitor system, the BMS in here. I can get in relays. Down over here, relay control center. So when power charge gets too big, it'll isolate them, and I've got, you know, the security so I don't overcharge. Plus, I've got the 2 lead acids in the engine room, and that I could actually put in large if I I can put in larger 200 amp hour batteries and stuff because of the wind turbines and use them as backup, and that so I can burn it off if it's not going to charge the lithium or LiFePO4, go right to the lead acid. So now, either way, LiFePO4 or lead acid batteries. Now, where do I have my distribution center? I was thinking up by the pilot house, or at the helm there. There's no room in that, but it kind of dawned on me. I've got this area that's right behind this door, and as you can see, it is not used for anything. And I don't know, it's probably going to get blinded here, but I've got the walkway, plus I've got the thickness of the gunnel, and this goes back pretty deep. Again, I can use marine ply, fiberglass it, make it watertight, and so if you come down the steps, you've got your distribution. So I have DC distribution, very short distance from the batteries, and they're right over here. So I can have DC distribution, AC from the inverter distribution. I can actually, because as it gets up deeper, I could actually put this mounted on the back onto the ribs, you know, the actual ribs of the vessel. So I mean, it's very secure, and then I can still get ventilation in and out, and it wouldn't affect, you know, blowing heat in here or anything. It would just outside. Then I can also hook up on the port and starboard shore power connectors in that, and I can put in a grid-tied inverter back behind there. So if I am connected to shore power at a marina, then I can feed back and get their little meters, because they all still have the dial meters. Get any of my extra power, send it back there, so my berthing fees are lower. And so, I mean, there's just a lot of space so I can do a lot of stuff with, and the main feed from the batteries to that distribution, very short distance, and that, so I don't have to use such a big wire, but I always oversize it anyway. So, but that's where that can go, and I think that's where my distribution's going to be. Now I just need to decide, am I going to go with LiFePO4 or the lead acid? I can go, and I've got some other systems that I'm helping my friends set up, so I mean, those batteries don't go to waste. I can sell them to somebody else. But the LiFePO4, so I've got to make that choice, and that's the only thing. But I still have a lot of wiring to do, because the only wiring I really have in here is it did have a shore power, a temporary cord. So there is some pre-wired outlets. There's one there, one there. There's one up in the V-berth cabin, and then there's one up top by the helm. So, and that's what the genset's, you know, connected to. But I've got a proper wire, a shore connector into it, and GFIs and all that kind of stuff, RCD breakers. But I've got a lot of wiring to do, and I need to decide what batteries I'm going to put in here. But at least I know the area, I know the area where the batteries are going to go, and I now know where my distribution center is going to go. So I can really start moving forward with that. Because right now, again, the only DC power that's really used on this boat is for your lights. DC lights, the water pump, and macerator pump, and now that this was upgraded a few years ago to a DC toilet, and that's really the only power, you know, that's going to it. And well, not my fridge off of the other inverter. That only uses 150 watts when it kicks in, and that it stays down to about 70 amps when it's, you know, nobody's opening it, and then totally off. But I have it on a timer in the back. Have it on a timer, so from 12 p.m. until 7 a.m. no power is to it at all, so it doesn't run the battery down. Plus I only have 90 amp hours now. So, but that's the plan. So, I mean, if I go with LiFePO4, that would be very, very, very convenient, and I wouldn't have to go into the engine room for any of that. But overall, the boat, it's looking good. I still got to do some varnishing. Again, we've got all the main gunk is off all the posts, and that up here, they're done. I had assistance with that. I'm not going to take the credit for that. Which was good. I can always use the help. Top is watertight, but still now I have to start doing all those posts up there and start figuring that. But my main focus right now, is going to be on power. And that was the whole intention for getting the solar up on the front. So, but she's looking good. I do like it with the power leads going down. It's got to drill a couple more holes, get some more down. But we're in a good place now, guys. Now my only decision, LifePo 4 or lead acid. All right, be good, be safe, be well. Bye-bye. Well, good morning from Hong Kong. Here it is, it's Sunday. Another week has passed, but I've got some things done. Now what I've done is I've run a hole through the bulkhead here. I've got network cables going out for the Morningstar, so that's on the Ethernet. I've installed a shunt, and I've got things connected here. So I've got my battery monitor. This is just monitoring my battery, and I've got this, which is monitoring the power that's coming in. So I've got batteries are 29.6. I got 29.7 here, and temperature is 18. Now this temperature sensor is on the top of this temperature sensor. So I don't know if that makes a difference, because I'm getting a different temperature, I've noticed. So if I come over to this one, my temperature, it says it's 17C. This is 18C, so I'm a degree off. But coming up to this now, I'm getting 3.1 amps coming in, but it's stating that I only have 2.08 amps is actually being going into the battery bank. And again, it's because I've got this on, because I've attached this to the batteries. So my 24 volt to 13.8 volt DC converter, which is to power the Fusion marine radio. And so that is that subtraction. So if I were to turn off the solar array to this, it would read a minus 2, because that's what I'm using. I have nothing coming into the battery bank. I'm only drawing out. So again, these are parts of my checks and balances. And you always want to see from what's coming in. You always still want to see a positive reading here. You don't want to see a negative during the daytime hours when you're making power from the sun. So this battery monitor goes into a lot of detail. It's good. Here's the current coming in, consumed amp hours. So what'll happen with this is on the amp hours that are consumed, so it'll, like, over the night, it'll keep adding up and up and up and up, and then as you charge it, it'll come back down to 0 until you get back to a state of 100% state of charge. And now, if it were nighttime right now, and I had no sun coming in, if it said on here, if it said night, then this would actually tell me, because you set it up, how many amp hour the battery bank is, and you set up I've got it set up so when I have consumed 40% of its capacity, it'll alarm, and that, so I need to, do something to get more power back into those batteries so I don't have a full cycle, because batteries only have so many cycles per lifetime. So what this will do is this will tell me how many hours and how many minutes I have left to, that's for that 40% that I can consume from a lead acid battery bank. So, it'll say like 56 hours and 27 minutes or something like that. But as of right now, there's nothing, because I'm at a positive charge. So there's my temperatures. I can go into my historical data. Again, you have to set up your alarms, set up the actual monitor. Now I've set up this monitor, so this monitor is starboard 24 volt, and that's what it is. So I've got a shunt and I've got a control box, which is called a VE-NET battery controller, and everything connects via Ethernet cables, RJ4 or R45, J4, whatever it is, Ethernet cables. So, and I can keep daisy chaining these, and keep going in parallel. And that, so I could have more battery monitors, plus I could have a blue power panel down here. I can have one up at the helm, and I could have one up on the flybridge if I wanted, which makes it nice. And I can connect this other control units to battery or to water level sensors, etc. So, but right now I'm in a good place again for, I've got this monitor. I've got to clean up some of the wires, clean up in the cabinet, and I'm going to start today. I'm going to take this apart and see what I can do down here about getting wires over to where the center is going to be, and I'm going to need to take that board off. So I've got a bit of stuff yet to do for this, but I'm in a really good place. I'm charging these batteries, and now to decide, do I go LiFePO4 or do I go lead acid? So I'll figure that out as I make my control center, which will be over there, and I can start to distribute some power and get some good fusing rather than using inline fuses like I use here. And that, so life is good. The battery monitoring is on and it's active, and it's showing me that. And plus I've got it connected. Just the TriStar is still connected up to my Ethernet, so I can go get it from web browser. I've got it here. Life is good. Life is good. All right, it is a very sunny Sunday here in Hong Kong. Weather's warming up, but it's supposed to get cold. I don't like that, but it means I have to just stay down here and work on that. Okay, guys, be good, be safe, be well. Bye-bye.